Nina loved visiting her grandmother. Every visit was like stepping into a different world, filled with warmth and stories from the past. Her grandmother's house was old and creaky, with wooden floors that whispered secrets of yesteryears. It had a secret room, the attic, a place shrouded in mystery and tales untold. Nina's grandmother kept it locked, always saying it was too full of memories. "Too many memories up there," she'd say with a wistful look in her eyes, as if she was seeing the past unfold before her. One day, Nina's grandmother handed her a vintage key, its metal cool and heavy in her small hand. "Go on then," she said with a serious expression. "Just for a little while. Be careful." Nina hurried up the creaky stairs, her heart pounding with excitement. Cobwebs hung everywhere and dust covered everything like a thick blanket. In the dim light, Nina saw a trunk in the corner, its surface hidden under layers of dust and cobwebs. She blew off the dust, watching the particles dance in a beam of light that filtered through a small window. With a deep breath, she lifted the heavy lid, her hands trembling with anticipation. Inside, nestled in faded velvet, was a music box. It looked ancient, like it held 1,000 stories within. It was wooden, with intricate carvings of dancing figures that seemed to come alive in the dim light. Nina lifted it out gently, her fingers tracing the delicate carvings. She had never seen anything like it. Her eyes widened in awe as she examined the beautiful artifact. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, she turned the key on the side, feeling the mechanism come to life. She held her breath and opened the lid, ready to uncover the secrets it held. A tinkling melody filled the air, its notes delicate and haunting, echoing softly in the dimly lit room. It was unlike any music Nina had heard before. The melody seemed to weave a spell, drawing her in with its mysterious charm. It was slow and sad but beautiful, each note resonating with a deep sense of longing and melancholy. The sound seemed to swirl around her, enveloping her in its embrace. Nina closed her eyes, letting the music wash over her. The music painted pictures in her mind, vivid and dreamlike. She saw scenes of a world long past, filled with beauty and sorrow. She saw a shadowy ballroom, dancers in swirling gowns moving gracefully to the haunting tune, their faces pale and ethereal. In the corner, she noticed a lone figure, a man with sad eyes watching the dancers. His gaze was filled with a deep, unspoken sorrow. Nina shivered. Why was this music so sad? She opened her eyes, the spell broken, the attic seemed colder, the shadows deeper. She felt uneasy, a chill running down her spine, but the music was beautiful, captivating in its sorrow. It held a strange allure that she couldn't resist. Nina closed the music box, stopping the song abruptly. The silence that followed was almost deafening. She knew she shouldn't take it, but she had to have it. The music box seemed to call to her, whispering secrets she longed to uncover. Nina snuck the music box downstairs, her heart pounding in her chest. She moved quietly, afraid of being caught. She hid it in her backpack, tucking it away carefully. The weight of it felt both comforting and burdensome. She knew her grandmother wouldn't approve, but she couldn't resist its pull. The music box had a hold on her, and she couldn't let it go. That night, Nina lay in bed. She couldn't stop thinking about the music box. The haunting melody echoed in her mind. She closed her eyes, trying to sleep, but something wasn't right. Nina sat up in bed. What was that sound? It was faint at first, then louder. The music box, it was playing by itself. She jumped out of bed and ran to her backpack. The music box was open. The tiny figures on top were twirling to the music, but Nina hadn't opened it. She hadn't even touched it. Fear crept up her spine. Nina reached for the music box. She had to make it stop. She touched the lid, her fingers trembling. Section 4. A hand from the box. As Nina's fingers touched the lid, the music stopped. Silence filled the room. Nina froze. Something wasn't right. The silence was worse than the music. She stared at the box, then it happened. A hand shot out from inside the music box. It was pale, almost translucent. Long, bony fingers stretched towards Nina. Nina screamed. The hand grabbed her wrist. Nina pulled back, but the grip was strong. She tried to scream again, but no sound came out. Terror choked her. What was happening? The hand pulled her closer. Nina felt a cold, icy breath on her cheek. She closed her eyes, waiting for... she didn't know what. Section 5. Whispers in the dark. In the dead of night, when the world was silent and the shadows seemed to come alive, Nina found herself in a place she didn't recognize. Slowly, Nina opened her eyes. The hand that had gripped her in her dreams was gone, but the fear lingered. The music box was closed, just as she had left it, yet something felt off, but the room was different. It was no longer the familiar attic she knew. It was filled with a strange mist that seemed to pulse with a life of its own, swirling around her. And the music, it was still there, but it was different. It played a haunting melody that sent chills down her spine. Whispers seemed to come from the walls, from the shadows. They were faint, but unmistakable. Nina couldn't understand the words, but they sounded angry, mournful. The room grew colder with each passing second. Nina backed away from the music box as if it burned her. The air around it seemed to crackle with malevolence. She wanted to run, to hide, but her legs wouldn't move. It was as if the mist had wrapped around her, holding her in place. She was frozen in place, trapped by the whispers and the cold. Her breath came in short, panicked gasps. The music grew louder, the whispers more insistent. They seemed to be calling her name, beckoning her closer. Nina closed her eyes tight, wishing she had never opened that attic door, never touched the cursed music box. Regret washed over her like a tidal wave. The haunted melody filled the room, and Nina knew she was in terrible danger. She could feel the presence of something sinister lurking just beyond the mist.